I remember from a little while ago that you had concluded or guessed that trading stocks and shares or trading currency pair, euro dollar, was very like gambling. I'm trying to explain to you now the difference between trading and gambling. So after we've had this talk, we'll put it down on paper. We'll cross out the areas that are not of any great consequence. But try and imagine what it's like for a business who's selling eggs, right? And he has a little shop downtown. He has to drive to Dublin or Waterford and buy his eggs once a week, enough to supply him and his customers until he goes again. Now, on the way, he might also buy carrots or whatever, but we'll just particular focus on eggs because they're slightly invisible inside. You can't see exactly what's inside an egg. A bad egg and a good egg will look much the same. So, if he buys all his eggs, brings them back, and tries to sell them in Wexford, the very act of doing that is normally viewed as sensible business procedure. Now, I'm trying to dig a little deeper, and I'll tell you, and you'll easily understand, that what he's doing is he's taking a gamble. He's taking a gamble that the eggs are in good order, that when he sells them, the people that buy them will not open them up and have a smelly egg. Because when you're up in Dublin, old eggs and new eggs all look the same from the outside. Yeah. So he's taking a gamble by going up there. As might happen with carrots, not as easily as carrots, but it can be the same. They can go off quicker, they can go moldy, etc., before he sells them. Okay? Yeah. So therefore, almost all business takes not a gamble. I'd suggest that you put a new word into your head, not risk. Risk. And business is all about monetizing risk. Monetizing means to bring an element of management, money-wise, into the action. So you're monetizing risk. You're being careful about it. You're being methodical about it, and you're recording the details: how many eggs you bought, how many eggs you sold, and the expiry dates, etc. So you're managing risk. You're not gambling. Gambling is like, oh, I take those eggs and hope for the best, you know. And there's a huge difference between backing a football team, who'll win and who won't win, and buying eggs. So the handling of those type of transactions are managing risk and not gambling. Now, let's look at the stock market generally. Just presuming that you had spent $1 million, million euros, whatever you like. Yeah. You've bought Microsoft shares. You've bought $1 million. You've all your family's money, your own money. Everything has gone into buying $1 million Microsoft shares, right? Yeah. Now, imagine what happens if you break your legs, or you have a car accident and something comes along, or you get stuff in your eye and you can't function. You can't function the way you want to function. Now, if you say, oh God, I need money to get myself fixed, right? Or I need money for something else. If you want your money back from the Microsoft 1 million, all you have to do is open up your program and click this a few times, and you'll get all your money back like that, right? This is a huge advantage in life because things do go wrong. If they don't go wrong with you, they might go wrong with your brothers or sisters or friends or family, and you might want your money back. Now, you compare that to a regular business that's selling clothes, right, down on Main Street. They have their €1 million, right? Yeah. And they put it into a shop. They buy a shop. They do up the shop nice, they paint it, they get nice signs on it, and then they buy in lots of clothes, lots of shoes, stylish. They get nice cash register. They have somebody come along and cut a ribbon on the opening day. So all in all, the million is spent, right? Now, presuming that you now get something in your eye, or break your legs, or some other catastrophe happens within your family, and now you need money fast, right? Now you've got this shop up the road. How do you get your money back? You can't. You might have a sale on, reduce it, but you'll end up losing quite a lot of money, and you'll also end up, people just don't buy clothes that often. It's not easy to get rid of a shop full of clothes overnight unless you really drop the price and sell them for a tenth of the cost. So the point I'm trying to make is that instead of viewing stocks and shares as being a gamble, it's actually more risk involved. I don't want to say more risk. Let's not put it down as more risk, but almost another high risk area is when you put your money into clothes or into, even if you were a garage selling cars, still the same. You might break your legs, etc. And then what do you do with all the cars to get your money back? It's not easy to sell a whole lot of cars in a short time period. Same with if it's a books, if it's a record shop, if it's a music shop, if it's a guitar shop, it's all the same. Where if you deal in stocks and shares and currency, you can get all your money back in a couple of clicks. A couple of clicks is a couple of minutes, right? That's a huge advantage in life. That's why the biggest business in the world, if you look at all the businesses that are in the world, first of all, there's selling books, they're selling clothes, they're selling cars, they're selling houses. The biggest business in the world by far is selling stocks and shares and currency. By far. It's like completely exceeds all the others by a huge quantity. And people are not doing that because it is inefficient or gambling. They're doing it because that's the least of the gambles, because they can get their money back out. You see? So does that help explain the difference